Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Razan Pereira. Amid rising instances of field enumerators coming under attack across at least 3 states for some of the ongoing NSS surveys and gathering mistrust over CAA and NRC, the House listing operation and the updation of the National Population Register set to begin in April for Census 2021 could run into rough weather. The survey system is already in deep trouble, and given the increasing instances of such attacks, conducting household surveys with the census as the frame would be very tough going ahead. Pranab Sen, former Chief Statistician of India and Country Director for the India Program of the International Growth Centre, said. Now, amid the backdrop of protests and rallies on the new citizenship law, the National Sample Survey Office field officials have been attacked in some areas of Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal. Sen said that this could have an effect not just on the census but on other surveys as well. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the importance of census and the challenges in gathering data. Joining me on the program today are Professor S.K. Singh, Department of Mathematical Demography and Statistics, International Institute for Population Sciences; Sushil Chandra Tripathi, former Principal Secretary, Uttar Pradesh; and Shekhar Iyer, Senior Journalist. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Professor S.K. Singh, I'd like to begin the program with you. Let's first understand and try and, put in place what is the importance of census and how does it help the government and the citizens?
Yeah, good afternoon to all the members. There is no doubt census for any country is extremely important for evidence-based decision making for all population and health programs. All government flexi programs are based on the numbers, based on population, and also requirement for various sub-segment of population. My viewpoint is this: there is a need to depoliticize population in our country. Looking at the current situation, what Dr. Pranab Sen has mentioned, that's a very genuine issue, and we should highlight from different channels that there is a need to depoliticize population in the country. I am also leading one program, National Family Health Survey, which is going on across the country. But fortunately, our mechanism is slightly different. In addition to survey, we are also canvassing biological markers to provide various kind of health parameters of the country. That is why we are not facing that problem. But coming back to your question, census has 2 types of errors we are facing: content error and coverage error. After hearing that government has decided to develop national population register, we, a statistician, has been extremely happy that now integrating these 2 operations of government, head count along with 30 or 31, I don't remember exactly how many questions government is planning to include in NRP, will strengthen quality of census data. In fact, in any country, population should not be treated simply as a head count. It should be considered as a citizen who deserves some basic rights, who deserves some basic services from our government. That is not possible. Any flexi program coverage cannot be efficient and effective unless until we are not ensuring the perfection in the counts. That is why I am saying it should not be treated as a head count, but it should be considered as a citizen who deserves for all basic facilities, which is not possible unless until we are not having population census, we are not having a national population register.
Okay. All right. Let me take the points that you're making to the other panelists as well. Mr. Tripathi, you've been part of the system for several decades, both at the state level and at the center. Yes. So let's try and understand, put things into perspective for us as to, what the government does with this data, how is this data used, and how does it benefit the people as well?
You see, census is not something new. About 65 years ago, when I was a school child, I was told that when Jesus was born, Romans were conducting census in that part of the world. So census has been going on. It's a basic data for governance, administration, development, and whatever you want to really achieve. Census is necessary to know how many people are there, male, female, the age profile, income profile, asset profile, all these things are necessary. If you don't know how many people are there, the constituencies or MPs and MLAs are formed on that basis. Finance commissions, grants are given on that basis. Many programs are launched on that basis, whether social programs, economic benefit programs, agriculture programs, education programs, health programs. There are other sectoral surveys also, like was mentioned, health survey. I had got education survey included when I used to be Education Secretary in Government of India. There are agriculture surveys, there are national sample surveys, but there is no survey which is as comprehensive and complete as the census. The others fill in and take certain segments and then study in more detail. So, census is the basic primary data for all planning, for all programs that the government really formulates for benefit of people or for administration. Like I mentioned, when Romans were doing, perhaps the development was not on their mind, but for basic administration also census is necessary. But depends how many questions you are asking and how you are asking. I think I agree with the panelist, the professor, that it should not be a political activity. It is for the benefit of the people. They should realize that it is for their benefit, that if the details are available, the targeting of government programs will be more effective for them. And therefore, it should be explained to them. It is like, some time ago when the vaccination programs were undertaken, many of the vaccinators used to be thrown away from the houses because people had some apprehensions. Similarly, when the education survey programs were taken up, how many children were not going to school, many a time they were not welcome. So, I think, it's a question of communicating with the people, and the politicians should keep the hands off, I think.
Okay, all right. Mr. Iyer, the last time that we went through with this process was exactly 10 years ago. Data began to be collected in 2010 and then the process was completed in 2011. So, what has the experience been from the previous census? How has it helped? What were the challenges and how did we overcome those challenges?
See, 10 years ago when this began, basically census is a house-to-house enumeration to find out how many people are there in that household, what kind of facilities they have, do they own a fridge, do they own a two-wheeler, three-wheeler. I mean, this is the basic data, as Mr. Tripathi was saying, the kind of inputs that is as house by house, because it's a house. What the important point we all need to understand is that it goes by dwelling unit by dwelling unit. And this kind of data is fed for broader kind of a statistics that gives the planners an idea of what is the extent of reach of the social welfare schemes, what is the benefits have reached, what kind of population concentration are there, what kind of facilities they need. And if you use this statistic, the other social economic survey statistics that would follow, this gives a broad picture has to get the best out of the government's expenditure. Now, this is the thing, it happened 10 years ago and it's a every 10-year exercise. Now, what has happened is, over a period of time, the government of India has always sought, just before the exercise started, there is a built-up of lot of ads are given, advertisement is given, messages are broadcast over radio and television to tell the people, look, because this exercise is be undertaken with the help of local teachers, local government servants, volunteers, who have to reach out to different villages and knock on the door and take time. See, normally this exercise, people do not like to be disturbed. So, there is a campaign to tell the people that the enumerators are coming and they are doing a public service, and you also do a public service. You also, fulfill the requirement by cooperating with them, sharing your information honestly, because all the inputs, because this is how a government can collect information. Now, last 10 years ago, we also saw this was followed by an exercise of National People's Register, which is more of in a particular place, who is living where, 6 months ago and all that. But in the context of a lot of politics over the Citizenship Amendment Act and subsequently over the NPR, we are now seeing a very peculiar situation. I am giving an example of the other day in the Kerala Assembly. The Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan had to get up and say, look, lot of misinformation is being spread about census. So I would urge upon all political parties to tell the people to cooperate with this census, because census is an important exercise. And because the Congress leader, the Ramesh Chennithala, was making a case, there is a talk of detention centers for foreigners and things like that, and where you found a CPM chief minister, countering the opposition. I mean, their opposition is Congress. Now, similarly, I would expect all chief ministers, no matter which party they belong to, realize that too much of politics has already been done on the Citizenship Amendment Act, both by of misinformation, disinformation, wrong information, all kinds of things. But everybody will have to realize that today a lot of economic decisions are basis of data, and things are done more scientifically, because you cannot spend thousands of crores on the basis of some guesswork.
Right.
Because after all, politics you can have on any day, on any issue. But we need to treat the data collection as a sacred exercise, so that when the enumerator, and invariably that when enumerators go to areas which are, say, populated by a certain sections of the population, the authorities ensure the enumerators belong to the same community.
Right. Since we are here, Mr.
So there is no, anyone to feel, this is an obtrusive incursion into their daily life, because this works on a basis of trust.
Right.
Between the government, the enumerators, and the people who are being enumerated.
Correct. So since we are here, I must ask you this follow-up question. At some level, do you believe that there is a fear that this data could be misused, and that's why all of this is happening?
Yes. You see, what has happened is, because of this ongoing, lot of politics, I would say, a lot of fear has come that this is the way they will single us out, and probably we may be, disenfranchised, or we may be thrown out of, all kinds of, because you see, fear, I always go by this definition, that fear means false evidences appearing as real. I mean, you can use it as an acronym. So therefore, a lot of information, a lot of things are said. And in certain communities, they develop their own velocity.
Right. Right.
And sometimes there is no scope for verification.
Right.
But the fact that, today, in today's India, everybody has to understand and appreciate that this kind of information goes into the authorities planning for better neighborhoods, for better educational facilities, better transport, last minute connectivity, because this census, first it starts with generally finding out, the population.
Right.
But it also to decide what is the characteristics of that population, what is the economic profile of the population. So these are very important elements to our planning and to our understanding to meet some of our great challenges that we face today.
Sure. Yes. So, Mr. Tripathi, then whose responsibility is it to mitigate these fears? Because the fear is well and truly real. Who's responsible? Is it the centers? It is the states? Should they both do it combined together? What is it?
It's a joint responsibility. Census Act and census carrying out is, of course, central government responsibility. There is a Registrar General who works under the Home Ministry. But it's a joint responsibility. And the state government officials are declared as the census officials. The district magistrate, district collectors, subdivisional officers, and as has been pointed out, most of the enumerators, they are teachers and block level people and other village level people who generally come from the society and nearby location themselves. And this is an exercise which has been going on for more than 150 years. Since the British time, we have been having census. Therefore, maybe there are a couple of additional questions this year which are causing some fear, and there may be some mistrust. There may be an atmosphere of mistrust in which this exercise is being carried out. So, if people are not very comfortable with some questions, they may not answer those questions. But I think it's a primary basic data collection, very extensive, and I don't know of any other exercise that goes to this level, every household dwelling unit, every member of the dwelling unit, and collects the data about them. So, this is a very extensive exercise, goes on for about 1 year, and therefore, I think people should realize its importance. It is for their benefit, and they should cooperate, and all the chief ministers should make an appeal to the people. The chief minister should make an appeal, other leaders, also opinion makers, should make an appeal, and the enumerators should go and fearlessly, and they should talk to the people and ask them to provide whatever data and whatever information they are comfortable with, Whatever is not available, naturally that will be left blank. And I do not know why there is so much fear when census has been going on for so many years. Every 10 years we have census.
Right.
So I think basically there is an atmosphere of mistrust that has to be tackled.
Okay, all right. Sanjay, Additional Registrar General of India, joins us on the program right now. Mr. Sanjay, you know, we've been talking about the role and importance of the census as a whole. Let's now talk about the challenges. What are the challenges as far as collecting the required information is concerned, and how can we overcome some of these challenges? And also, if you could tell us how the enumerators go ahead and collect this particular data, how is it collected, how is it processed and then analyzed?
As we all are aware, this is the first census which is being collected on the digital platforms. It means the mobile through the mobile app the census data will be collected. So enumerator will be going to the households along with the mobile, which will be his own mobile. They have option also, if somewhere there is no connectivity, then he can collect the data on paper, and later on at his home he can feed it into the mobile, so that the data is available digitally to us. So this mobile app will work offline. So only 2 times the connectivity will be required. At the first time,
of the enumerator and allocation of the work, that is, you might be aware that each enumerator is allocated one enumeration block.
Enumerator is allocated one enumeration block's work, which is generally of 150 households and around 750 populations. So at the time of allocation of the work, and whenever the data will be required to be uploaded, so for the syncing purpose, the connectivity will be required. So
Okay.
One of the important thing is to train each and every enumerator, because approximately 30 lakh enumerators will be required to be trained, so that he collects the quality data. So we have designed a 4-layer training approach. So first, the national trainer, who will be mainly of the RGI, Office of RGI staff, they will be first trained. So around there will be 100 national level trainers. They in turn will train around 1800 of master trainers.
Right.
On an average, there will be 2 master trainers in each district. So they will be mainly from the state governments. These 1800 master trainers will train around 40,000 of field trainers, and it will be their responsibility who will train all the enumerators and supervisors. Around 30 lakhs of enumerators and supervisors will be trained.
Sure.
So this training is one of the important part as a challenge. So enumerators training, organizing the training at such a large scale is really a challenge this time.
Okay, all right.
And
Let me take the points that you're making, Mr. Sanjay, to the other panelists as well. So, Professor Singh, you've been patiently listening to all the other panelists. So, let me come to you as far as some of these challenges are concerned. How do you believe that some of these challenges can be addressed?
Yeah, first let me add this point to what Mr. Sanjay has mentioned. In the continuously strengthening data ecosystem in our country and changing discourse of evidence-based decision making in various policies and program making, quality of data is the most important. That is why the real challenge will be capacity building of our enumerator, so that they can collect the precise and accurate data which can be working as inputs in our policy making. Now, as per our existing practices, all state director of census operations, they used to organize a state level master training or trainers program, who in turn train the interviewers. That is why once we are adding another dimensions, which is probably through our NPR components, which I mentioned in the beginning, 30 or 31 one, which Mr. Sanjay can say exactly what is the plan, because we are getting it from media only. But I am pretty sure that those additions will be strengthening our data quality. The second important component of strengthening our data quality by minimizing the coverage error in census data. And if we can minimize coverage error in our data, that is going to be extremely conducive for policy making and all our changing discourse of program implementation.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Iyer, is providing security to the enumerators, sending some police personnel, the answer to the problem? Because in several states there have been several reports that they've been chased away, or they've been beaten up, or some kind of violence has been resorted to. So sending police personnel, is it an answer, or do you believe that that will only further complicate matters?
Yeah, I think, you see, how many enumerators can be provided police protection, and besides, with police around, do you expect people who are being surveyed will come and give with details? They'll be wondering why this information is being taken. I think the better idea would be for the government of India and the state governments to launch a massive publicity campaign as to why this exercise is being undertaken, what is the purpose of exercise, what kind of questions are going to be asked, and why is it necessary for all of us, all the citizens, to provide information to the best of their knowledge and ability, and truthfully, because this is a very important exercise, and citizens must be made to understand this is regarding their future, because this is actually a mandatory exercise, but a voluntary effort is involved, because after all, those who volunteer to be enumerators are also doing a particular job, because this is in addition to their normal vocation. So I think it's better to involve the community leaders. Good would be exercise would be to involve the gram panchayats, sarpanchas, and if it is the case of city, to involve the ward members, legislators, members of parliament, because this has to be a very big kind of an exercise. I would think it's like conducting an election.
Right.
Like the election commission, goes about with a campaign. Similarly, a campaign has to be mounted where needless fears should not be stoked and needless fears need not be entertained, because this is a pure exercise, and we must all remember that nobody is going to throw anyone out or anything. This kind of fear is unnecessary, and for the political parties also to realize, today they may be in the opposition, tomorrow they will be a ruling party, even as a party in government. For the good governance, you need this data. As was mentioned here, the purity of data is important. The extent and depth of the data is also important. So I think we need to treat this as a very sacred democratic exercise, and
right.
that must be done in a way where I think even college students can be involved in this campaign. College students, you have flash mobs, so that this becomes a kind of a great exercise, and where every citizen feels like when he goes to vote, that he is casting a very important duty when he presses that EVM. Similarly, I think when an enumerator knocks on the door, you give him time, you give him or her the proper respect, give you information, and with this app which has been developed, it is there no more somebody has to take down. It is just tap on the app.
Sure.
So I think the digital era has also made the exercise simpler and faster.
Right. Okay. It's now time to get closing comments from all my guests. I'm going to ask you to be brief because you've got limited time. Professor Singh, I saw you putting up your hand there. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, because my colleague panelist has mentioned about there is a need to enhance community participation. In addition to what he mentioned, I would suggest it would be better if we can involve even religious leaders. In addition to political leaders at different levels, even if we can involve religious leaders to convincing people and preparing a conducive environment for census operations, that it is not a CAA, it has nothing to do with NRC, it would be quite conducive for us. We are doing that exercise. Okay. While conversing, we are taking, of course, not 646,000 villages, we are taking only 31,000 villages across the country for National Family Health Survey. But in addition to media campaign, we are going to even local political as well as religious leaders also. And that is giving a very fruitful results. In my opinion, that needs to be upscaled at national level when we are conducting the next census operations.
Okay, sure, all right. Mr. Tripathi, it's a massive exercise. We all know that it is a huge exercise and a very challenging exercise as well.
Yes.
So, what's the best way forward?
No, we should make everyone feel that he matters, he counts, and therefore he must provide the information. And you see, Census Act, like Election Act, there is a provision to draw upon others also. So, opinion makers, community leaders, they should all be in fact roped in, and effective district officers must be doing it also. But I think the government should support, encourage this activity, and also have a massive program of communication so that everyone feels that he counts. He will count only when he is in the digitized data.
Absolutely. All right. And Mr. Sanjay, your concluding remarks on the program.
Indian census. And this is the only time when government reaches to each and every household. No other exercise where government reaches to each and every household. The household might be reaching to the government, but census is the only exercise when government reaches to each and every household and collects very vital information on the basis of which several important government programs are based. So, it is my request to all general public to cooperate in this great exercise of national pride.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sanjay. Apologies to the viewers as well for that technical difficulty there as far as Mr. Sanjay's connection is concerned, but technology is not in our hands, unfortunately, so we have to move on. And Mr. Iyer, close the show for us with your concluding remarks.
Well, I think we could start with the tagline or a slogan that let's do it, it's for us. I think that can be a very powerful message.
Okay, all right. So the big picture or the key takeaway from this discussion here today is that everyone needs to be made a part of this exercise. Their fears need to be mitigated and everyone needs to be taken along, and only then will the benefits reach each and every citizen, is what the panelists are suggesting. I'd like to thank my panelists on that note for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's it on this edition of The Big Picture. See you again next time.